I'm going to just give you guys a brief introduction to the project that our students have been working on in the second half of the semester. So the last time most of our reviewers were visiting with us, that was back in February, we had our students self-select their sites wherever they were located, and you went on a tour of healing gardens in Vancouver, Canada, and abroad. But in our second assignment, all of the students, both remote and local, have been given the same site, and they've been working in teams with at least one local student and one remote to study this site and to come up with new designs for the park. So we've partnered with the City of Vancouver and CityStudio to provide a real project site for our students. This is a small community park that will serve as a rainwater basin alongside a planned green infrastructure street in Southwest Vancouver. So our site is called Columbia Park. It's located down here in the Camby village area of South Vancouver. And to orient those who may not be super familiar with Vancouver, this is the downtown core, this is Stanley Park, and this is the part of Vancouver you'll probably visit if you're a tourist here. You probably go along the waterfront and the seawall. But the majority of Vancouver down here is all primarily single family housing. And it's got residential zoning, and the blocks are almost pretty uniform no matter where you go throughout this part of the city. So this particular neighborhood bridges Camby Village and Oak Ridge, and our site, again here, Columbia Park, is nestled just south of Queen Elizabeth Park, which is a larger kind of diverse park that has botanical gardens, the Bluedell Conservatory up here, as well as a few other park amenities. And then to the west is the Camby Street transportation corridor. This is a major street going north-south in Vancouver. And this is slotted for intense development and densification over the next few decades. So over here where we have Oak Ridge Mall, this is currently undergoing development into a series of towers. And then even further south is the Langara Golf Course, which is one of the 11 golf courses within the city of Vancouver. So our park is kind of nestled in between these two bigger green spaces of different functions. So while the current context is single family homes, the city's vision for the Camby corridor represents an increasingly densifying center, with population expected to increase by up to 50,000 residents by 2041. So their development plan calls for actually some high-rise buildings surrounding the park. You can see that better in the inset up here. And then kind of tapering down to 6-story mid-rise buildings in the orange, and then down to townhouses in the yellow. So this proposed development is going to put stress on the aging city infrastructure. And parks like Columbia Park, they have the potential to offer some stormwater management relief by way of detention, retention, and infiltration. Additionally, with the population set to increase so dramatically, there's also urgency to create welcoming public space that can serve as a natural respite from dense city life. So this area that we're studying has been identified by the City of Vancouver as a site that will be redesigned to enhance resiliency in the city. This map highlights the drainage collection corridor, sort of the drainage area from Queen Elizabeth Park, and then the sort of targeted rainwater and green infrastructure that's planned for this street, which is called Alberta Street. It runs north-south from the park down, bordering Columbia Park down here. So the vision for this is that it becomes a showcase for a new type of green street that integrates stormwater management into the infrastructure of the public right-of-way. So at the start of this assignment, we invited Matt and his colleagues with the green infrastructure team at the city to show us some of their ideas so far. And since they'd already begun planning Alberta Street with some different water management options, we decided to focus our attention on the park itself. So currently, this park is typical of many kind of semi-urban / suburban neighborhood parks. It's got a couple sports fields. It's got a defunct concrete splash pad over here. And there's a playground up here in the northwest corner. The site slopes around 2% from the northwest to the southeast. But during the winter the grass is really sodden and muddy, while in the summer, as you can see in this image, it's really dry, unshaded, and exposed. So there's a lot of potential for this park to become so much more than just an empty field, particularly as public green space becomes more commodified and exclusive. So we tasked our first year students with a very challenging request, which was to design an inclusive and accessible public space that is multifunctional and can serve as a meeting ground for a diverse array of people, while also performing important ecological and infrastructure functions. So the students have been working really hard over the past 8 weeks to integrate what they know about grading, drainage, planting, and most importantly, their own vision for what inclusive public space means into this multifunctional park